All right, today on The Explainer, we're diving into a really chilling case. One that absolutely paralyzed an entire city with fear. We're talking about the Hillside Strangler. So, who was it? Well, to answer that, we have to go back to the late 70s. Picture this. Between the fall of 77 and the winter of 78, a wave of pure terror just washes over Los Angeles. Okay, so what was happening? Young women, they were being found murdered, and their bodies were just left on these wooded hillsides all around the city. You can imagine, these discoveries didn't just spark a massive police investigation, they created this paralyzing fear that spread like wildfire. And the body count just kept climbing. We're talking 10 victims. 10. All of them female, some as young as 12 years old, up to 28. And all of this happened in a brutally short amount of time. Just look at this timeline. The sheer intensity. I mean, all of these crimes packed into just 4 months, it created this citywide panic. It actually changed how people lived their daily lives. Women were terrified to go out after dark, and of course the media jumped on it, giving the unknown killer a name that would become absolutely infamous, the Hillside Strangler. But here's where the story takes a huge turn. The investigation would eventually uncover something nobody saw coming. This wasn't the work of one guy. It was two. So, who were they? They were cousins, believe it or not. Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono Jr. And they worked as this deadly team. Buono was the older one, kind of the dominant, influential guy. And Bianchi, he was younger, had just moved to LA and basically fell right under his cousin's spell. And their method, it was just so deceptive and chilling. They would actually impersonate police officers. Think about that. They'd use fake badges, gain their victims' trust, pull them over, and then lure them into their car. From there, they'd take them to Buono's upholstery shop, and, well, that's where the real nightmare began. And these crimes were just marked by extreme brutality. But a pattern started to emerge. Police noticed these faint rope marks, ligature marks, on the victims' necks, wrists, and ankles. It became their grim signature, and that was absolutely crucial for the police because it helped them finally link all these cases together. And get this, in a really bizarre twist, they almost abducted someone famous. Well, the daughter of someone famous. They pulled over Catherine Lore Baker, but when she told them her dad was the actor Peter Lorre, they just let her go. Why? Because they were afraid of the high-profile attention it would bring. Absolutely wild. So the investigation is going on, and then, suddenly, silence. After February 1978, the killings in LA just stop. Completely vanished. You can imagine the city, the police, they were all on edge, just waiting for the other shoe to drop, wondering when and where the Strangler would pop up again. And for almost a whole year, the case went completely cold. Nothing. And then, in January of 79, an arrest is made. But it's not in LA. It's hundreds of miles away in Bellingham, Washington. And that single arrest was about to change everything. So what was the link? It was Kenneth Bianchi. He'd moved north, probably to get away from the heat in LA, and he got caught up there after committing almost identical crimes. This was it. This was the big break investigators had been desperate for. They finally had their man, or at least they thought they had the man. Okay, so Bianchi is caught, and he's facing the death penalty in Washington. So what does he do? He tries to fake an insanity defense, claiming he has multiple personalities. It was a whole performance. But the court psychologists saw right through it. So with his options running out, he realized he had to make a deal. And to save his own skin, he talked. He confessed to everything. And here's the bombshell. He implicated his cousin, Angelo Buono, as his partner. He didn't just say they were partners, he pointed to Buono as the mastermind. And just like that, the Hillside Strangler became the Hillside Stranglers. The whole case was blown wide open. So what followed was this absolute legal marathon. The trial of Angelo Buono went on to become one of the longest, most expensive trials in California's history at that point. And think about this. The prosecution's entire case basically rested on the testimony of one man, Buono's own cousin and partner in crime. So how did it all shake out? Well, it's pretty complex. Bianchi pleads guilty to 5 of the murders, and in return, his testimony becomes the key that convicts Buono of 9. So, for cooperating, Bianchi manages to save his own life. He avoids the death penalty. And the judge in the case, Ronald M. George, did not mince words. He made his feelings crystal clear. You can just feel the frustration in this quote, right? He basically says that despite the absolutely horrific nature of what they did, he was powerless to give them the death penalty. Both of them had escaped it. So, what happened to them? Well, Angelo Buono died in prison back in 2002 of a heart attack. Kenneth Bianchi, on the other hand, is still alive, still serving his life sentence in Washington. But the story doesn't quite end there. There's one final, really disturbing twist, and it just shows you how manipulative Bianchi was. Even from behind bars, he convinced this woman, Veronica Compton, that he was innocent. He actually got her to stage a copycat murder to try and prove the real strangler was still out there. It was a crazy plot, it failed, and she ended up getting convicted herself. It just leaves you with this chilling thought, right? The whole Hillside Stranglers case is this reminder of how evil can be hiding in plain sight, sometimes even within a family. It's not just a story about murder, it's about this dark, twisted partnership and the incredible power of manipulation. A power that, as we just saw, didn't even stop at the prison gates. It really makes you wonder,